An uncontested divorce is when both parts agree to all the terms of the separation of the divorce, and that would normally include properties, assets, debts, loans, and custody of the children. An uncontested divorce is the one that can be processed much faster because all the answers already are ready to be filed with the court, all the decisions, all the agreements. However, in Texas, there's this 60-day cooling off period in which the government believes that because it's a very serious decision, nothing can be done. So after the process is started with the petition, then we enter that cooling off period, and then we can submit the agreement that the parties have. We can submit it to the proposed divorce decree to the court, and the court will review it, and if everything looks all right, the court will sign it. Normally, the uncontested divorces are in many occasions, when there are no children, there's no property. These two people live together, maybe for a very brief period of time, or maybe for a long time, but they just don't have any properties, they don't have any debt, and they don't have children. So it's just easy to part ways and just ask the judge. Both parties report to the judge that there's nothing to dispute, that they don't own anything, there's no debt, there's no children, so they're just asking the judge to sign the decree. And that's normally what happens the fastest. But because after the 60-day period, we still have to ask the judge for a hearing, or what's called a prove-up. That's why instead of the 2 months, we're probably talking about 3 months, more commonly 4 months, at least for an uncontested divorce. One of the reasons for which parties divorce is because they don't have a meeting of the minds anymore. They have differences in opinions, in priorities in their lives, so that's the reason they're deciding to part ways. So because of that, they're asking the judge to make a decision based on the law of family law of Texas. The judge will still refer the parties to mediation, but again, if they're not able to come up with an agreement, mediated settlement agreement between the parties, then the case will be referred to the judge. The judge will hear the evidence and will make a decision and will grant the divorce. Parties are not required to be represented by legal counsel in a divorce case, but it is recommended, especially in cases where there's a dispute about properties, about children, and so on. When there's nothing to be disputed, like children or who's gonna pay debt or assets, then it may make sense to go to court unrepresented. However, if things are not done right and timely, the judge is going to be pushing to close the case as soon as possible. And that means if the parties are not diligent in working in their divorce case, the judge is going to dismiss the case for wanton prosecution, and the parties will have to start again the case, which is more expensive, more time-consuming, more frustrating, and those are the kind of things that we can help avoid. If you have questions about uncontested or contested divorces, come to the law office of Mario Varela.